Well, it's that time of year that you either love or hate, depending on whether or not you'll be getting a nice tax return or if you have a tax balance owing based on your income from last year. Of course, I'm speaking about tax season here that in Canada opens as of February 21st, so actually a couple of days ago by the time you see this video, up until generally April 30th, but this year you get one extra day to file your taxes because April 30th falls on a Sunday, so you have up until May 1st. Now overall, when most people think of tax time, they think complicated and I need an accountant to help me out so I don't make any mistakes. But in reality, based on most people's financial situations, you're probably more than able to do this yourself from your home computer in like less than an hour, and usually even for free, as we'll be discussing in today's video. This is actually the fourth consecutive year that I make content on the channel going over how I use Wealthsimple Trade to file my personal tax return pretty much for free, really just because of how simple and intuitive the platform is and how over time, as my own personal finances and return have evolved and grown bigger, they still have all of the options available to make it a streamlined process. Right, so in my particular situation, I've had T4s, T5 income, investment income, capital gains, rental properties, and so forth, all of which are easily accounted for in a tax return on Wealthsimple Trade. That's really why I use it, and in no way am I associated with Wealthsimple for today's video. This is really just a platform that I've enjoyed using over the years, and so I thought, why not make a piece of content that's updated for 2023 to walk you through the process yourself. So with that said, let's get into it. All right, so when you go to Wealthsimple's website and you create an account for yourself, this is what you're going to be presented with once you actually log in. So in this case, I have accounts with Wealthsimple Trade, Wealthsimple Invest, which is their managed investing, and then also, well, Wealthsimple Tax, and now you can actually access it since tax season is open. So we'll click on this right here, and this is what you'll be presented with. In my case, I've done many different tax returns over the years, so we can see 2020, 2021, I can go and consult those if I want. In this case though, we're going to click on 2022 return because, well, this is what 99% of you are looking for right now. So when you first come into the Wealthsimple tax screen here, if it's going to load, you will have multiple different personal information fields that you need to fill in. And this is completely normal. Of course, they need your social insurance number and things of that nature so that they can communicate effectively with the CRA and be in tune with your personal tax return. When you're seeing this right here, all this is going to be blurred out, of course, because this is my personal information. And I've actually gone ahead and done the entire process myself ahead of time so that we can expedite the process and save you time in this video. So going down, you're gonna have to put more information about your Canadian mailing address, about your residency, you and your family. All of this stuff is pretty standard for a tax return. More information for Revenue Quebec in this case, because I'm a Quebec resident. This may be the case if you're Ontario, BC, whatever province you're in, you might have to put some specific information as well. If we keep going down here, we will now get to the actual tax return section where you're going to be adding forms to your return. Now, what's interesting about Wealthsimple Tax is that they do have this section called Auto Fill Your Return. If you have a job and you have T4 income, for example, T4 income is from a job specifically, as well as other things such as investment income, most of the time there's actually already going to be a T4, tax returns for as well as other forms for investments already within CRA that your employer or other investment brokerages have created on your behalf and sent to CRA. So in this case, well, you still need to file your own tax return. That's how it works, at least here in Canada. But in some instances, there will already be tax forms that are in your CRA account. So what you can do with Wealthsimple Tax here is that you can connect, say, to your CRA account, you can connect to Revenue Quebec, or even to Wealthsimple other platforms, right, to import those slips if you have investments with Wealthsimple's other services. Essentially, this is just going to save time. You connect and it's going to import all of those files into your tax return within Wealthsimple Tax. It's actually a really awesome system. It can save you a ton of time. I don't personally do this because I don't have T4s, I don't have things like that because I am a self-employed person, so I just have to go ahead and import everything myself. That being said, even if you do have those those files waiting for you in CRA or whatever other provincial platform, it is still very important that you go over all of these files and double check everything so that you're not in a position where there's a box or two that is inaccurate and then there's inaccuracies on your tax return. Okay, now moving down further, this is the section called Manage Your Tax Forms, where it's really simple. They have a search bar here where you can either filter by category, because in Canada there are dozens, if not hundreds, of different tax forms. Honestly, I don't even know how many there are, but there's got to be dozens based on this list right here. So most of the time people are going to have T4s, right? A T4 is reporting income from an employer, from a job. So you can simply say search T4, and then you can select this right here, employment income, T4 RL1. The RL1 is the Quebec equivalent of a T4, and it'll give you a little description, if you had a job and you were employed. So we'll click on that right here, and it's going to add that new section to my tax return. In this case, I don't, again, have a T4 because I don't have a job that's giving me in that manner. So I can just skip this, I'll delete it. However, if you do have a T4, you would put, for example, Government of Canada here and just go through everything else as described on your T4. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. Yes, I'm sure I want to delete it. And we can look at a couple other things, right? So in my case, well, I have rental properties. So we can search rental property. Well, we have rental income that's going to come up here. I've already gone ahead and inputted absolutely everything because I have many different rental properties, but this is just a really good system for reporting everything, whether or not you have co-owners, capital cost allowance, income and expenses. It's really just a simple platform that allows you to input all of this information. And what's great is that it updates in real time. That's one of the features I really like. So if I add something, let's say we go back to a T4 here. Well, this would update everything in real time. I'm pretty sure box 14 is the employment. So let's say I made $60,000. Well, that's all going to update in real time based on how much money I've declared. And so every new box and form that you add is going to contribute to these updating amounts for your federal as well as provincial tax owing. And there are many, many others, right? For example, if you made a donation, you can declare that here, donation and gifts. Other things such as pension income, that is also available. Basically anything that you want to be declaring on your tax return is available through Wealthsimple Tax in this really easy to use search and go format. All right, and finally, when you're confident that you've correctly input all of your documents relative to your 2022 tax return, the last section here is called review and optimize. So Wealthsimple Tax has this really great system where it's built in. You click review and optimize at the end, and it's going to give you a list of errors as well as certain warnings that you should be accounting for within your personal tax return. And so in this case, I have, 4 errors and then probably like 5 warnings. So it's going to tell you exactly what the errors are and how you can fix them. In this case, well, I didn't input the premium for the Quebec prescription drug insurance plan. That really sucks. So we'll go add section here, and well, I can go and input the information required for that. All right, going back here, we also have a bunch of the other warnings. I'm not going to go through all of them. They're going to be relative to you, but that is a step that you're going to have to go through within Wealthsimple Tax. And finally, once all of those have been accounted for, well, then it's time to actually submit your tax return for the federal tax return as well as your provincial tax return at the bottom of this page. Now, I'm not going to go through doing this right now because, well, I still have a bunch of things to fix and add. However, that is how simple it is. And once your returns have been submitted, you'll be prompted with a pop-up that essentially is asking you to donate a certain amount of money to Wealthsimple Tax. You don't have to. It is completely free, as I mentioned in the title and thumbnail. However, if you do pay, I'm pretty sure it's $30. That's what it was last year. If you pay $30, you'll have assistance essentially with other more detailed questions you might have, as well as if the CRA does choose to audit you, then they will assist you in that manner. If you choose to go with the zero, you don't have to pay any money. However, you won't have any assistance. And so that just about covers it. Wealthsimple Tax is really just a simple platform to use so that you can file your personal taxes this year at a very low cost and on your own without the need of a professional assisting you along the way. I really hope you enjoyed today's video and you found value. If you did, please take a second, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more content about personal finance, investing, and so forth. And if you have any questions about filing your tax return, leave a comment down below. I'll try to answer as best as I can. So thanks a lot for watching. And on that note, I'll see you in the next one.